Good morning, everybody. Whew. This is AKA Heather Joy, and you have boarded the lifeboat. Oh, goodness. Hot flash right now. They're not fun, guys. Oh, my word. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, goodness. Let me get things started here. Before I jump into things, let me run through the rules that we have here on the lifeboat. The first one, please, no discussing politics in the chat or the comment section. It's just far too triggering. The second one, while this isn't a religious channel, it is fine to say things like, I'm going to pray for you, or, uh, I couldn't have found sobriety without my faith. But any overbearing religious tones, please just steer away from that. Third one, please do not curse in the chat and the comment section. As Tommy always says, if you can't control your mouth, then you can't control your life. And the fourth one, no trolls. There's absolutely no room on this boat for mean people. And if you're going to be mean, you're just going to get banned. That's all there is to it. Also, I would like to request that you hit that like button. Please, please, please. Just give that little algorithm a tap. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so, and also invite you guys to share this. We really do want to help, everybody we can, and appreciate you guys. Oh my goodness. I know it looks scary today. I'm just glad I'm awake. And oh boy, I had my race yesterday morning, and after a race, you're beat up. I have epic bruises. It was a lot of fun, but wow, I am sore today. Oh well, I guess that's just part of getting older. It's harder to recover from this stuff, but it was a lot of fun getting dirty, and I got really dirty. I had to. Let's see, at the venue when I was done, I went over. They have just a place where you can go spray some of the mud off so you can get home. So I did that, and then when I got home, it took 2 showers to get all the gunk out of my hair. Oh well, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, all right. Let's see. The last time, no, not the last time, but the time before that I was here with everybody, I was talking about ending self-abandonment, and I had some great help that day too. And I think you guys, this resonated with a lot of you. So I want to finish what I had started. But really quickly, let me just do a little bit of a review, so that if there's anyone here that didn't catch it, maybe they'll have some idea of what I'm talking about when I'm done. And I just realized I didn't see who all is in chat. So let me have a look here. Okay, Paul Sargent, full of hope. Patrick, John, Valerie, Seventh Son, Charlie. Good morning to all of you guys. Did I miss somebody? I guess not, but I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, okay. I will try. I'm trying to get better about paying attention to the chat. And yeah, I'm working on it, guys. Anyway. All right. So let me just go over what self-abandonment is. The questions that I had first asked everybody, do you have a difficult time trusting yourself? Do you hide parts of yourself, your feelings, your beliefs and ideas in order to fit in and please others? And do you diminish or discount your feelings because you think they really don't matter? And these are all behaviors that you see with self-abandonment. People that have this type of behavior, they don't value themselves. They don't really act in their own best interest. And they don't encourage or comfort themselves. And they don't trust their instincts. And as I had said, these things are really common with addicts, because we already have poor self-esteem. So it's very common with PTSD and complex PTSD as well. And it really doesn't help anything. It did it at a time. It did serve a purpose, this behavior, and it is a learned behavior. But it makes anxiety and depression and physical pain. It makes all of those things worse. And you really do. If you have this kind of behavior, you get stuck in it. It's just a negative feedback loop, and it is so much negative thinking. It's some of the hallmark behaviors that we had spent a lot of time talking about were the people pleasing. That was a big one. Hiding parts of yourself. That's a big one too. Where you don't share your feelings. You give up your own interests and you give up your own goals. To please somebody else. Perfectionism is another hallmark of this kind of behavior. People, perfectionists, they really do put some very high, almost unreal expectations of themselves, and that just so much pressure and so much stress. So being very critical of yourself and very judgmental of yourself, that's another one. You don't honor your own needs. Um, you begin to, you begin to just tell yourself that the things that you need just aren't important. You really do put them back. You you don't practice self-care. It's a bad it's a bad thing, when you don't need this kind of behavior anymore. Suppressing your feelings, that's another big one. You just push away uncomfortable feelings. You don't look at them. You don't deal with them. And this is where it really, people that suppress their feelings, that's what an addict does. When we are trying to escape the pain that we have, we're trying to suppress a lot of feelings. And that was my preferred way of dealing with my feelings, was to not deal with them. And so I was heavily dependent on prescription pain pills, and Xanax, Soma, Klonopin, Ativan, that was all thrown in too. I remember that. um, and you don't act according to your own values, and that one really got to me. When I'm guilty of that one. You're definitely, if you have this kind of behavior, you're in a codependent relationship, and it's almost always with a narcissist. And a narcissist doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who is totally interested in themselves. And I don't know, that term narcissist, I think it's overused. I don't think that the true definition of a narcissist, I think that's kind of escaped people sometimes. But a narcissist is basically somebody who, it is all about them. It's their needs, their desires, their wants, but it's happening because they were injured mentally and emotionally, in their childhood somewhere. And that's what it is. It's a manifestation of pain, but it's not, to be on the other end of a codependent relationship with a narcissist is a very unpleasant thing. I'm sure many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the last hallmark behavior, you don't speak up for yourself. You don't ask for what you need, and you don't set up boundaries. You let people basically walk all over you. And why does this happen? That's where I had, this is the point where we got, the last time I had talked about this. Why do we abandon ourselves? This definitely begins in childhood, this behavior, in most cases. It's very likely that it was your parents or another very influential adult that was supposed to be there for you in your life, and they didn't meet your emotional or your physical needs. That was, in my case growing up, that was exactly what was going on. My mother had had been hurt badly, emotionally and mentally when she was growing up. She went through some awful things, and she had never had an opportunity to deal with that. And I also think it's kind of a generational thing. We are a lot more open about discussing mental and emotional issues, but the earlier generations, they were very stoic, and they didn't talk about those things. It just wasn't done. It was hidden, it was swept under the rug. And I my heart goes out to people from that generation who don't dare talk about their issues, because I know they're in pain. Oh boy, I wish so much that my mother could get help and feel better inside. I can't imagine the pain that she still walks around with every day. But let's see. Anyway, like I said, okay, I got off on a tangent, and I apologize. But this is where parents, like I said, parents, or someone else that was very influential in your life, that was supposed to be there for you, they weren't. You were either not, your physical needs were taken care of, but you weren't taken care of emotionally, or it could have been, none of it. That and maybe you had, maybe they were there for you intermittently, but they weren't there for you when you needed them. And this really causes you to feel very unworthy and very unlovable. I remember that for a long time, I really thought there must be something very wrong with me. That was why my mother behaved the way she did, especially with me. I truly did. I thought there was something, at the core, that was rotten. That's how I felt about myself. The thing is, when you are when your needs aren't met as a child, and you end up, feeling very unloved and unworthy, this is something you carry into adulthood. And as an adult, you tend to use the same patterns that you had as a child. And it's just the way it is. They are patterns that we learn in childhood, are very familiar, and they're very comfortable. And even if they aren't for the best, they are familiar, and you do them because they are familiar. You are comfortable with them. You repeatedly choose that, whether it's with partners or with friends. And you often choose partners or friends that will mistreat you, that will take advantage of you, that won't support you. It's very interesting how people that are on this other end of a codependent relationship with a narcissist in adulthood, that's what they seek out, is the same kind of relationship. It's a tough thing to break. But we do the same thing to ourselves. We don't know how to be there for ourselves. This is what we learned to do. We don't know how to be there for ourselves, because there was no one there for us as children. And it's a very painful thing to come to terms with and to look at in the face. As I said before, self-abandonment, it's a learned behavior. It is a coping tool, or a coping mechanism. When children have to depend on adults for their emotional and their physical needs. We are born utterly helpless. There's no choice. We depend on whomever is there. Um, if you grow up in a household where there's a lot of chaos, and it's very unpredictable, or there's abuse going on, you learn very quickly to hide your true self. You become a chameleon. You really do. You become very attuned to what's going on around you, to the people, to the energy, to the environment. and you just do whatever you can not to be hurt. And you really do. You learn very early. You suppress your own needs, you suppress your feelings. And what is really sad is that your self worth, it becomes very conditional in your mind, and it depends on the things that you accomplish. Like I said, it's very conditional, and that's just not right. I can't imagine, Lovey. I can't imagine anything. I have 6 kids in total. 2 of them are mine. I can't imagine with any of them that there would ever be anything that they could do where I would turn my back on them. I just that doesn't make it just doesn't make sense to me at all. This is something I don't understand very well. I just don't get, if you understand pain and you know what it feels like to turn around after that and repeat the same behavior. I it just doesn't make sense to me. But I know it happens. It happens over and over and over. Anyway, the self-abandonment, it's really a self-destructing pattern. If you carry these same behaviors on into adulthood, the same thinking processes, I mean, the whole thing, when you bring that into adulthood, it is self-destructive. It just compounds anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and you have a lot of very unfulfilling relationships. It was wow. Um, but it's something very necessary in childhood. You learn that to survive emotionally, physically, whatever was going on in your house. It was necessary at one time, but it no longer serves you. And if you struggle with self-abandonment, you it doesn't serve you, and we all know that it is really hard to break out of this pattern. I better look here. Let's see, full of hope says, you as a mother and myself, it makes her behavior even more disturbing. I could never do that to my child, but she had no problem with it. Yeah, it's exactly how I feel. Yeah, it's confusing to me, but that's, yeah. Let me see. Let's see what else we've got here. Full of hope again. Oh boy, mine was pre-verbal neglect amongst the rest. Yeah, I am so sorry that happened to you. That's John Doe. You're a handler. You had a handler? Wow. As in, let me look here. As an MK Ultra handler? Is that what we're talking about? Wow. Wow, John. Whew. That's pretty heavy. Wow. Sorry, that just wow. That's a lot, John. I am very sorry that you have that to deal with. Wow. Oh boy. Well, hey, you know what? We are here for you. I'm so glad you're here. Man, you guys are the best. You are willing to be very vulnerable and share these things with each other. That really does, it's wonderful, to have people that understand and know what you're going through. This is wonderful. You guys, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's see. So as I said, this kind of behavior, this self-abandonment behavior, no longer serves us as adults. It really doesn't. So how do you begin to trust yourself and love yourself enough that you get to the point where you refuse to take the back seat anymore? It's a hard thing to break out of, but it can be done. You're a literal born identity. Wow. I would love to talk to you and pick your brain. There's so many fascinating people here on the boat. You guys are amazing. I want to read a quote to you from a psychiatrist. Let's see, Diane Furstenberg. She says here, the most important relationships in your life, let's see, let me read that. The most important relationship in your life is the relationship you have with yourself. Because no matter what happens, you will always be with yourself. And that's true. You're always with yourself. You need to be able to rely on yourself. And your relationship with yourself becomes the template for all the other relationships that you form. Let me repeat that one. That's the important part here. And your relationship with yourself becomes the template for all the other relationships you form. You know, if you've had a series of very unfulfilling relationships, if you start putting yourself forward, putting yourself first, start putting up boundaries, and putting a line that you do not allow people to cross anymore. When you start to love yourself again, when you start to trust your feelings and you start to respect your body and to respect your soul and to respect who you are, it's a different energy, it's a different vibration. It attracts a different kind of partner. It attracts a different kind of friend. And this is very true, guys. I experienced this in my own life. The difference between my first husband and my second husband, big difference. And I know that's a long story, but I've experienced that with my second husband and with the friends that I now have. You really do, when you can make that change and you start to want to take care of yourself, you really do. You vibrate at a higher frequency. Maybe that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but from all of the things that I have studied about this, is true. And you attract people. If you raise your vibrations, you're automatically going to be attracting people that resonate at the same vibration you do. I'm sure that makes sense, you guys. But let's see. Full of Hope says, give me a child until he is 7 and I will show you the man. Yeah. As a parent, taking this theory to heart can cause waves of anxiety. Yeah. But that's true. That for 7 years, we have discussed that before. That is so critical. That's where your patterns of behavior, your beliefs, your values, everything, that's where everything starts. That's where those patterns are really set. But as humans, our brains are very they talk about neuroplasticity. They are very plastic. You can change them. As adults, it's a little bit more difficult, takes more time, but it's very possible. It really is. And I'm experiencing that for myself. I have been I took a break and I think I'm going to be starting again soon, but I have been doing ketamine therapy at home. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, lots of journaling, lots of work. But there's something about the ketamine that allows you to dissociate yourself from your horrible, these traumatic things that you've been through. It puts you in a state where you can look at it but not feel the pain anymore. And when you can look at the situation and really think about it and have a better frame of mind to look at the situation, it helps you rewire your brain and to think about it in a way where it's no longer painful. It really works, guys. It really works. And I'll tell you, that was when Tommy was living in Reno. There was in April. I had driven out to meet with him, and we recorded some things and just did some work. And with fibromyalgia, it used to be I couldn't ride in a car, and that was a 9-hour drive. And if we had to go anywhere that I had to be in the car that long, I couldn't do the driving. And when we would get there, I'd feel like somebody had taken a baseball bat to my body. And I have been able to rewire my brain enough that I was able to drive myself for a 9-hour trip there and a 9-hour trip back home, and I was able to do it, and I didn't feel beat up. I was, I didn't. Oh, it was amazing, the change. But anyway, the point is, wow, I'm getting off on tangents this morning, you guys. But my point here is that these patterns can be changed. It's very possible. I'm taking I think the ketamine is just kind of speeds things up, if you will. But I'm very grateful for it, and yeah, it's been very, very incredible. Okay, so I'm talking about how to change these patterns. What do you do? How do you start to love yourself, to respect yourself, to take care of yourself? To put yourself first. You don't have to do this in a narcissistic way, but there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries and not letting people walk over you. And it's okay to have desires, to have feelings, and it's okay to express them, and it is okay. You couldn't express your feelings as a child, but you can now, guys. You're safe. Be a safe haven for that inner child that was so hurt. It's okay now. There's no need to be afraid. That's a huge thing to realize and to come to terms with. It sounds very simple, but it's not. Just to tell yourself, you've been operating with a very specific pattern where you put yourself second. You've done that for so long, and to realize, hey, this does not serve me. There's no need for this. It's okay. Nobody's going to hurt me. I mean, you really do. You have to think about that. You have to write about it. It takes time for that change to actually occur up here, to where you embrace it and you start to believe it. It does take time, but yeah, be your own safe haven from everything from your past. For your, let's see, you need to for your own feelings and needs, try to listen to your feelings. Okay, it's a whole new adventure to actually sit with yourself and sit with your feelings and allow them to come out, and to be with them, and to just it takes time to do this, and it takes time to even figure out what it is you're feeling. And very likely there are multiple feelings going on, but it's really important to journal, to practice meditation, to be mindful, to even just sit and be quiet and just sit with these feelings for a while. But you need to practice identifying your feelings throughout the day. That's an important part right there. To figure out what you need, you do need to pay attention to your feelings. And it's a really simple thing. I suggest taking a notebook that you can have out in a place where you are going to see it often. And then, several times during the day, walk up, open up that notebook and write down, I'm feeling blank, fill in the blank. I am feeling this. What do I need right now? Really start to be mindful and start to think about that. This is something for a lot of us, it's very unfamiliar at first. And it does. You have to practice it. This is something you have to do over and over. The patterns that you have been working with have been so set, it's going to take time to change them. But it can be done. It really can. So again, practice identifying your feelings throughout the day. Write it down. So there's something about writing it down that makes it more concrete. And I, at least for me and for a lot of other people I know, writing it down makes it more concrete. I I wish I wish I could express myself better, but I'm not very articulate. Let's see. But just ask yourself, what am I feeling? I'm feeling tired. What do I need? Do I need to eat? Do I need a nap? Do I need I'm feeling frustrated. Okay, again, what do I need? Why am I feeling frustrated? I mean, it's just you have to start asking yourself, and most of us have multiple feelings that we are dealing with. It takes time to pick them apart and figure out what's going on. And I really do suggest journaling. This is wow. I mean, so many things just come out. And a lot of times when I just sit down and start journaling with no purpose, but I'm just writing out my feelings and my thoughts through the day, that's when things really start to pop out. And that's what, I don't know. There's something about writing, where all those feelings come out on paper, and then you can start. I don't know. You can start to see things more clearly. I know that's very helpful for a lot of people. Um, okay, allow yourself to be creative. To allow yourself to be yourself. Okay, be creative. Be a little quirky. Be you. Be uniquely you. There's only one copy of you. Be yourself. The wonderful thing about all of us together is we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different skills, different talents, different ideas, different ways of looking at things. And when we bring these things together, it's a wonderful thing. I just saw Anik is here. Good morning, Brandy. Hi. And let's see, anybody else that has popped in? I'm so glad you guys are here. JT, good morning. Let's see. Sorry, I have not been paying that much attention to the chat. M. Hunt. That sounds like a huge pile of poison. Ah. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let me continue here. Let's see. Try not to hide parts of yourself. It's kind of hard. When you have bad self-esteem at first, it's a very uncomfortable thing. I'll tell you what, though, it's well worth the risk taking to let yourself come out. Don't shrink or change just to please other people. Don't not be yourself. You really are. Each one of us, we are a gift to the world. We really are. Okay, it's really important that you express who you are. You can do this with work, with different creative pursuits. Maybe a hairstyle or clothing, or maybe you have a passion project. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? These are all ways that you can express yourself. But it's really important to do that. You really should commit some time to rediscover the things that you like. I spent a long time with my first husband putting myself away and just taking on everything that he did, that he believed, that he wanted to do, and it was very freeing when I got out of that relationship. Okay, really important to treat yourself with compassion. Everybody deserves care and comfort when they hurt. Everybody deserves that. we have become very good at providing that for other people because we have, we put ourselves second, and we are very good at taking care of others. You really do. You minimize your own struggles. You fail to love yourself, especially when you need it most. But because you are so good at taking care of other people, you need to turn it on yourself. And it's okay to do that. Be kind and understanding when you are confronting your own personal failings. As addicts, that's a big one for us. There's a lot of things that we have failed at, things that we have ruined, things that you know what I'm saying. Um, Facing those things, coming to terms with all that isn't an easy thing, but it does not serve you to beat yourself up over it. You were trying to deal with pain, and it. We all know addiction is a disease. So please be gentle with yourself. Um, and this really does become a lot more comfortable with practice. It really does. At first, you don't feel worthy of any of this. It's just something you have to practice over and over and become comfortable with. And I found something interesting. It was called the basic tenets of self-compassion. Let's see, hang on here. Your dog has helped you overcome your anger issues, John. That is beautiful. I love that. I love pets. Let's see. Oh, Brand, you had lost your job. I am so sorry. But a huge load had been taken off your shoulders. That's good. That's good. And honestly, when one door closes, is because there's something else. Whether you believe in God or the universe, look at losing a job, or anything like that, where one door closes. Look at it as an opportunity for something better. Look for that. You deserve it. So you knew it was meant to be. I've already applied for 6 jobs and applied for unemployment in the meantime. Oh, that's so good. Good for you. Good for you. I like that you realized. You said it was a huge load that was taken off your shoulders. That's a good thing. So, yeah, there's something else is going to open up for you. That's awesome. Let's see. Okay. Oh, anyway. Okay. Yes. The basic tenets of self-compassion. Okay. The first one. Notice when you're struggling. If feelings, body sensations, rapid heart rate, these are all things that indicate stress. Whether if it's a disappointment, some kind of loss, or a hard time, but notice from your feelings. Notice when you're struggling. Okay, that's the first tenet of self-compassion. Notice when you're struggling. The second one is to recognize that everyone suffers. Everybody has difficulties. Everybody makes mistakes. And in doing this and recognizing that everybody goes through things, it helps you feel connected to other people through your struggles. That's why it's so beautiful to come here, and share with other people. You can if you can very you feel very isolated, when you aren't connected with anybody and you're feeling these things. Anyway, the third tenet is mindful awareness of your own negative feelings. It's really important to be aware of negative feelings, but don't judge them because they do not define you. Just remember that. Anyway, let's see. The next thing that is suggested to help, so you can change this kind of behavior and stick up for yourself, is to stand up for yourself. You need to be your own advocate. Assert yourself. That's a hard one. it took me a long time to be able to have the confidence to assert myself. But and it takes practice to become comfortable with it. But assert yourself, set your boundaries. For a long time you have allowed people to take advantage of you and to walk all over you. It's time to end that. And people are probably going to be upset with you at first. That's okay. Take care of you. Let's see. Hey, Dennis Brace. Good morning. I am glad you're here. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Don't, like I said, don't fear offending other people. You really can't let people continue to walk all over you. How do you begin showing up for yourself? I like this idea, showing up for yourself. It's really important to listen to your body. How do you feel physically, as well as your feelings, your emotions and things. But try to listen to yourself. I am starting to become a lot more in tune with my own body, and I'm noticing now when I get in flares and things, I'm starting to pay more attention to when the onset is, and I'm able to correlate it with what's going on at the time. I'm starting to see that, and that's the first step to trying to correct things. But listen to your body, listen to your feelings. Another thing is to prioritize self-care. This is one we all struggle with, and I think this is one we are all guilty of not doing very well. When we are in addiction and when we have abandoned ourselves, we aren't taking care of ourselves. We aren't eating properly. We aren't sleeping properly. We aren't exercising. We aren't doing the things that every human needs to do to be healthy and strong, both physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You really do, whatever it is you need to do. But, everybody needs time for some reflection, and, journaling is a really good way of doing that. But, there's so many things that go into this one, and they're very individual, but that's really important. Another thing, that will help you begin to show up for yourself is, in any situation, do what's right, even if others don't approve. Be surprised what that does for yourself when you start to do things that show you have some integrity. That really is a boost to your self-esteem, and it makes you feel better about yourself, and you are more able to set boundaries and to demand that people, treat you the way that you have treated them. Let's see, Mrs. Kermit Hill, good morning. I'm so glad you are here. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. Oh, Patrick, 21 days was my best record so far. Going to make it a month this time. That is fabulous. And yes, you are. Yes, you are going to do it. I love that. You hang in there. You can do this. You can do this. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. When you're having a bad time, it's okay to comfort yourself. Whatever it is you need to do, if you like to go out for long walks, if there's, sometimes when you're upset, really talking to a friend, that's a good way to do it. But you deserve comfort when you're hurting. It really is okay. I think my favorite way of taking care of myself is taking a long soak in a bathtub. There's just something about water that really restores me. I don't understand it, but I don't feel guilty for taking time out and soaking for an hour. Even though I've got a lot of other things going on, I'm learning. And it really does. It helps you come down. It helps you. Yeah, you just feel better. But please, please know it is okay to put yourself first. And as I had read that statement before, the relationship you have with yourself is the template for all other relationships you have. If you like yourself, if you're going to take care of yourself, like I said, it raises your vibrations, and it does it attracts people with higher vibrations as well. It's a cool thing. Let's see. Anyway, let's see. It doesn't matter. Okay, I wrote this down. It doesn't matter where you begin. Just take one small step today to value yourself. Just if you're struggling with this, just take one small step. Get it started. It's a process. It's nothing that's going to happen all in one day. It takes years for a lot of us, but it is really possible. And let's see, I want to read, I'd spoken of a poem. I hope you guys can still see me. I'm sure you can still see me. Okay, I want to read you this poem. I thought this was very appropriate. I actually sent Tommy a copy of this poem on a canvas. And when he read it, he said, "That's the lifeboat." That was his comment. And let's see, I haven't been able to pull this up before, so I'm just going to read it. And it is by Marianne Williamson. And she says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that poem. I read this one over and over. Oh, you did see it on the community page. Okay, I couldn't remember if I had posted it or not, but whoa, I love that poem. And if you don't believe in God, please don't be offended. You can put in there in place of God, the universe, or whatever, whatever your higher power is. But I believe the words that she has written. And I believe that all of us here as addicts, we have been, at the lowest of the low. When you come out of that, you're so much stronger, and you shine. And the people that I have met here on the boat, fellow addicts, are the kindest, most giving, most understanding, non-judgmental people I've ever met. And I prefer them over people that have never made a mistake, as if that, that type of person, but even normies, I prefer you guys over anybody else because you're kind, you're understanding, you're forgiving, I think when we as addicts are able to get our sobriety and hold on to it and get strong again, we are stronger than anybody else around us. And, you guys are here because you want sobriety. and you're here to support one another. And, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful community. And what Tommy has started, it's incredible. I can still kind of reeling. It's been, it was last October that I first discovered the boat, but I'm still blown away at how positive, how beautiful things are here on the boat. And it's because of all of you guys. It really is. You guys are awesome. Let's see. Who else? James, good morning. And did anyone else pop in? Alf, good morning. Let's see. You'll have to go back and re-listen if you feel like it, Alf. Let's see. I did see Mrs. Hermit Hill. Anybody else? If I missed you this morning, I apologize. But you guys, thank you so much for showing up today. Show up for yourself. It is okay. It is. Wow, I look scary. I didn't have time to put makeup on this morning. Sleep. I needed sleep after that race yesterday. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I need to give my husband a call. He has a very important race today. He's up. The Spartan race weekend is here in Utah this time, so that's pretty nice. But he's got a very important race this morning. I'm nervous for him. I know, because I know how hard he works. I know how hard he trains, and I know what this means to him. Oh, I hope he does well. I wish I could see it. Anyway, I'm babbling, but love you guys. You hang in there. If you don't have your 5, please get your 5. It's so important to have someone to reach out to. You guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. You guys are the best. I will talk to you again in 11 hours. So we'll see you then. Thanks.